third, that blanket that they had kind of going into that game, saving them right there. They got to pick things back up and hold on to that qual spot.
That's exactly the point, right? They can't, something like that can't happen to any of these trios in the top 10. It is a time, once again, 2 games left to go. Jacob PR, MDF, back over to you.
This is instantly at the top of my list for most entertaining FNCSs ever. Doesn't matter the region, Monster. We only have 2 games left of this tournament.
Yeah, look, the way that this story is unfolding right here, the race between Clix and Peterbot and their teams is absolutely incredible. I mean, last game though, 33rd place team decided to kind of split their drop and give them something else to think about. So if Zeke is feeling the pressure, imagine the players right now. Anything can happen as game number 11 kicks off. All right, game 11, Jacob. We're kicking this one off, bro. It is all or nothing now.
Peterbot and Kids, sit on the freaking dumbass and move on. B. Now bring dumb up in B.
Man, I know you accumulate points throughout these 12 games of the tournament, but you know as well as I do, when players look back at an event and they lose, whether it's 1 point or 30, it's usually the last 2 matches that you really boils down to. And we're in those last 2 matches. One mistake could cost you everything at the top of the leaderboard with Clix versus Peterbot. One mistake could cost you a global championship spot with everybody all the way down to the top 10. And this is going to be a nail-biter finish, but they're contested again, and this time it's Fallen and it's full trio.
Yeah, you know what? Like, Iamzo, Clix, and Higgs don't have the problem of a team land on them, but you saw that 33rd place team, Fallen, just landed on Cold again, right? But they get the elimination. That means they're getting those quick points and that extra damage. If anything, they're almost propping up the fact that Peterbot and Cold and Ritual now get have an advantage, right?
I wonder why.
Point lead that, let's be honest, Clix's team has really worked hard to try to build. They've had to go above and beyond just to start closing that gap, and they're only 10 points away.
The crazy thing that has me laughing right now is usually when a team contests them, they all kind of converge back. They leave the train to go elsewhere because they want to make sure they all stay alive. 3v1, Cold did not need a single teammate to kind of backtrack into Crime City right away. They still continued on looting that train. They got the mythic pump. You know they're going to be able to grab that medallion. And now Ritual finally returned back towards Crime City just to kind of figure out where all these players are at. They didn't even change a thing while getting contested.
Yeah, you can see just no sweat, right? They're like, oh, don't worry about it. We got this team on lock. We're good right here. Take your time, get your loot together. Ritual comes back to just play a little bit of support, but I think they're gonna wait for their, I was just gonna say, to get themselves super situated and then likely collapse on this trio. Peterbot just getting straight to looking to fish for tags. Nothing available as of right now, so the team that's left inside of Crime City might be the first that they jump on.
Yeah, and that's going to be a chance now. Footsteps are there. Cold once again landing a huge shot onto Fallen. New Nitro's there as well. 2v2 situation that's quickly going to become a 3v2 as soon as Peterbot makes his way on over, and he is there. Welcome him to the fight because now he's on attack mode. Cold, couple missed edits, so that's not going to slow him down, especially with a flank coming in from Fallen. Ritual is there to alleviate some of that pressure. Now it's a 3v1. And I might not be the best at math, but 3 is definitely better than 1, especially when they know exactly where Noob Nitro is at. Ritual this time is going to be one leading the charge.
That's right, and think about it. These are 8 points they're securing right now, so pivotal moment right now for Cold, Peterbot, and Ritual as far as the overall tournament race is concerned. Put right in the dumpster there, and just like that, that's 2 elims now for Peterbot here at the Crime City. It doesn't really throw them off, right? Because it didn't go the distance. This is not a team that put up much resistance here at the drop, so Peterbot's team is probably feeling pretty good about that one.
Yeah, the small eliminations like that and a race this close that could prove to be the difference makers. Curve, Shadow, Tyler pushing up on towards the fight. Backside of Demon's Dojo on top of that hill. There is a full team position up there. I think Taki, Isha, and Bert. And right now they do have a little bit of advantage in terms of elevation, but that one's quickly going out the window, and now they're just getting chased down. They have the pressure. They chop Vert down back into his teammate's box. And now they're continuing to put down pressure with his elevation advantage. Shadow's pushing up. I can expect him to try to steal away some of those pieces as he inches closer.
This little exchange here. Shadow, Tyler, and Curve looking for a lead before they set up the collapse here. You know, Takeisha and Vert, I was just going to say, this is no pushover trio. I think they're recognizing that, hey, wait a second, this team might be above average for what it's worth. Looking at the points earned on the day for Shadow, Tyler, and Curve, overall, they've been relatively competitive. Last game, they finished 3rd with 9th place. I know we've put so much focus in on some of the other trios, obviously, but today has been a great day for Shadow, Curve, and Tyler, as they are in a race right now for a global championship spot. They're one of the few trios in that conversation.
In my boat, Peter Butt
Back on over to
win by
Frogs.
10 or less.
Ooh, a
That-
pretty significant setup happening
Be
right
us.
now. Reed Cooper and Curly have to be on edge here. Little do they know.
Only in A.
They've gotten into a lot of
EU
fights here at the
never
Blooded Frogs,
weapon.
but never against Iamzo, Clicks, and Higgs,
And
who
they
have actually
people
initiated the
dumbass.
fight.
This is kind of dangerous for both of these teams. Clicks, Iamzo, Higgs. If they go down here, you can almost guarantee they're not going to be able to get that first place spot, barring any miracles. But Reed, Cooper, and Curly on the other side, if they go down here, that means their global championship spot is on the line in their last and final game of the day. I believe it was only about a 45-point difference between Muzz and that 3rd spot on the qualification spot. Only 64 points between Muzz and Reed, Cooper, and Curly.
Oh, Cooper stepping up right now. Clicks, Iamzo, and Higgs backing off after the ambush was unsuccessful. And I wonder if Cooper, Reed, and Curly are going to kind of pick up the fact that this is Clicks' trio. Remember, they've gotten into a lot of fights here, right? Against teams not as notable. So their confidence could be misreading the situation, since Curly did end up surviving. But it seems like they're not going to take it personal. They're going to be content with the back and forth and kind of call it off for now. But a very close call as they rotate into another team. Wait a second. That could be bad for Clicks' trio now.
Yeah, especially since they took damage on the way out as well, so they're already weak. Just like you said, rotating into another team as we jump on board Braids, Visuals, and a minished 4th place when it comes to the overall leaderboard, which means they would grab that 3rd spot for the global championship. But 2 games left, they still need to close it out, and already you see 4 eliminations. And I was watching the feed. There's one way to get that mythic drum gun. There's one team you have to go through, which leads me to believe that Bucky, Okus, and Cam are down in some way, shape, or form, if not already back in the lobby.
Yeah, tough position to be in. They've been kind of middling in the competition. They've had a few moments to break away, but nothing significant just yet. Clicks, Iamzo, and Higgs, though. Here's the full update. Back to Lone Wolf Lair they go. Team hot on their heels here, as Dozier and his trio were the one that kind of caught them off guard there for a moment. But this is a full-on reset angle for this team right now. Don't blame them at all. Thinking about Visuals, Braids, and a Minish, though, those 4 elims puts them neck and neck with Reed, Cooper, and Curly now. So already they've kind of sealed the gap there just a tad bit, breaking themselves ever so slightly away from Muzzjack and Rise, or fighting for that position as well. Global Championship is on the line here. Do keep in mind, this major is going to be the largest as far as the qualification spots to globals are concerned. There are 3 spots in the air here for NA Central.
And this team is just outside of that bubble. I believe 57 points down from entering into that top 4, which Peter Bot, Cold, and Ritual would mean a spot would roll down. And that's the thing. They were playing so well yesterday, so consistent. Talk about out of all the games that they've had yesterday, it was just kind of in and out. They were able to get some big eliminations. They closed the day off with something special. And then today is where they find themselves a little bit of trouble. 5th place, 6th place. And then it was that 16th place with no eliminations 2 games ago. They were only able to net 2 points for that placement. And that's what really stopped their trajectory from keeping themselves inside of that bubble.
Gotta stay in the conversation. Cooper, Reed, and Curly. See from there, kind of loadout situation. Not too much ammunition here on Cooper's side. A lot to be desired. Shirley on the other side, definitely a lot better, so should be more than ample for this mid-game to come. Look, they're looking around. They're trying to see if there's any stragglers, any last-minute teams here, but not a player in sight. So much different kind of dynamic happening here.
Yeah, we were talking about throughout the day, you know, a team pushing over to another team or even changing their drop spot, what that does the course of the game. Now, what does that do with Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs pushing on over, not allowing them to get the surge for the teams that did have to rotate by from that northwest corner of the map? So that's a lost opportunity there for them. Let's see how they're going to be able to pick up the pace with the zone moving over in this direction. Agers, Acorn, Pollo, uncontested throughout the day. And they did pull off a victory royale, Monster. They did show that they have the potential to pop off, but even leading up to this major in the group stages, you saw a couple of struggles, and I thought things would have been figured out by then. But with 2 games left, they can still has a good chance to make a good amount of money. And I wouldn't say it's like life-changing for a team that's already won a major, but it's definitely going to allow them to take a good vacation.
Yep, and again, always pad the stats, right? Like, gotta keep the history looking tight. Everyone will hold it against you either way. Looking at the zone here, very reminiscent of the entire kind of weekend.
Just taking it one step further on the other side, not just a ramp up, curved it to the side. Making sure they get as many lines of sights as possible. We know no one's over there for now, but Pollo just waiting, making sure that nobody's going to pop off and get a position behind them in zone as they go to rotate in. Peterbot Cold Ritual still with those 2 eliminations from the early game, looting up what's left over from the black market. Just trying to grab some extra heals, some extra loot to take them farther. And with that gold, they're able to upgrade their shotgun loaded as well from purple to gold. It's definitely going to hit harder.
Makes a huge difference there. Every little bit of advantage. Higgs, Yamzo, and Clicks, though, rotating into Japco, Muzz, and Rise right now, who, by the way, have had extremely key positioning this entire Day 2 tournament. Not a single time we've seen them out of position. This is the first time they're kind of not at a super prime location, but they have a several amount of eliminations, so it seems like they've just gotten out of one.
Yeah, almost forced to slow pay things at the edge of that mountain. But they realize the team is up there, even with trading shots back and forth. They're just going to continue to move towards the north side and figure out a way in from there.
They find a solo? I think Clix' team might have just found a solo as they moved to the north there. Someone kind of lurking about here.
Oh, he's in the bush.
Chaos Gaming in the bush. Okay, it makes sense as to why they were kind of looking around.
They're all rotating through there too. Chaos is probably like nervous. No, don't see me. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. He's not even moving to make sure that they ran past him far enough. He's just going to wait until his audio visuals go away, cross his fingers. And it really kind of... How many heals does he have in his inventory? Because, you know, he has almost no choice but to go back into zone, maybe towards Lone Wolf Lair to try to get those reboots, if he even has the cards.
Yamzo, Clicks, and Higgs, though, just trying to rotate right now. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold met with a lot of resistance here on the outer edge of zone. Where's the white heals, though? I'm asking myself here. Peterbot doesn't seem like they have any. They have to double back right now. And they're in a race against the clock. Cold is also lit up. Meanwhile, Higgs, Clicks, and Yamzo find a little bit of a break, a little bit of a moment here to find a elimination and some extra material to go the distance here for the mid game.
And that Sentinel Pup upgrade for Higgs. He was walking around with an Infiltrator, which, yeah, can do some damage from far away. But you know, way a team like this fights, you want to go ahead and get the Sentinel Pump. Any variation at this point, what's really going to be in their minds. Water Sprite going down, the last of the heals. And this is where they got to be careful. With that elimination, they now have the option and flexibility to kind of bypass the black market altogether. It is just outside of zone, and you see 2 teams nearby as well. So they really have just a few options thanks to that early game aggression and being able to pick up that one elimination. But Peterbot on the other side, from fight to fight, they got that first elimination, and now they almost have Josh boxed up. Either way, he's going to get knocked down. And that's going to be a full-on cleanup. And you see in the distance, just on one of those mountains just outside Foxy Floodgates, it was the solo player. He has to watch his teammate go down and figure out how is he going to get him back into the game safely.
Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, it was looking super dicey for a moment there, but they just had enough time to bounce back and then live off the siphons. Way to keep it close. Well, as Japco and Rise had 2 elims right now, but how did they pick them up? You might be wondering. There it is.
Really just catching some solos, separated from each other, already weak, already hurt, with really nothing left to heal up. It's those little points. Now it's going to help them a little bit with their damage from Surge. Not much, because you know those players were weak. But you already see the split up right now. Rise is on the north side of Brutal Boxcars, trying to look, find some players on the whole north side of the map. Down below on the south side is going to be Muzz and Yapko. They have that Mountain Rage to look after, so it's not going to be easy damage for them.
Magic Moss is looking a little messy right now. Taki, Isho, and Vert, that trio right there. The scanner comes out. Who else do we have here? Vive and Chimp. Chimp
Wow.
gets blasted by, I think it was Vert's trio on the low ground. It wasn't even Yamzo, Clicks, or Higgs. If it was, they would have surely jumped on that. They're sizing up the competition. They're I guess noticing that this team's being a little passive, so out comes the splash, up they go, the piece. Yamzo with the failed miss, but no biggie there. Chimp and Aviv are just trying to heal here. The information is through. They know this is a 2-man team. This is perfect for Yamzo, Clicks, and Higgs, who need these points right now. No team around to chop them down either. I was a little concerned that Verstro might take advantage of it, but no, they're already gone for the rotate here.
Yeah, they went east and just really haven't looked back. They know how far some of these bones have been pulling, so they're trying to take advantage of that. As Chip tries to break his way in, he immediately gets taken out. Vive doing some damage, but it's really not going to be enough. Odds were truly stacked against him. Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs pick up their 4th elimination of the game. Almost 900 damage above the threshold, and another pile of loot to claim as their own.
Now this just sets them up even once again with Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, for anyone keeping count of the elims there. Reed Cooper and Curly, after that close call, have now officially moved into kind of the pump power territory, but look at the zone popping once again down to the mountains. Man, yesterday was all Magic Mosses. Today, these mountains are just getting all types of love right now.
I just feel for Tati, Isho, and Vert. They were rotating to the east, thinking it was going to pull in that direction. You see them in pump power now, really unable to safely get out because they're contested. Reed Cooper, Curly being proactive. They're trying to rotate quick because we saw where they went, staying extra long in flooded frogs, rotating towards the east. And as soon as the zone pulled, I feel like they were one of the first teams to move.
Gotta be quick to move here. Looks like Reed's, Curly, and Cooper's timing here was perfect, though. They get right into the mountain here. Not too much pressure from up top. The K and Cynics is the trio set up there. Braids, Diminish, and Visuals. 4 elims, still riding the momentum of that huge early game that they had. And, you know, looking at Cynics, Polar, and Decay, the last couple of games have just fallen out of their favor, but they've had a couple of moments of greatness after yesterday's kickoff tournament. And coming into today, it just seems like their strategy is not quite connecting, but they are in the higher ground, so do keep that in mind. Clicks, Yamzo, Higgs in another fight, though. What is happening here? Why did this one break out? Well, it seems like it was Chaos Gaming trying to play for some kind of cheeky storm rotate, but caught out here. Yamzo, Higgs, and Clicks nearly sent back to the lobby, forced to use one of those very prestigious med mists. Now, think about it. They use these up early, then they can't use them to play frontside zone the way they enjoy doing. So this is going to be an important moment. Oh, no surprise. This is exactly where they last left Chaos Gaming, by the way. In this river bend around these bushes. So he must have just been moving. And look who's in the distance there, Jacob. It's Peterbot's trio on the edge, who's just now starting to rotate.
I just heard the pain of the entire lobby right now as the zone pulled over towards Brutal Boxcars. Luckily this time around, like I believe one of our zones yesterday, there's a lot of open space down the edge on the north side of the mountain overall, where teams are going to be able to pick and choose, kind of cross their fingers. Hopefully it pulls north, east, or west and not south. Called Peterbot and Ritual. They got themselves a little bit of an edge on the western side. No real elevation, but they're a team that, you know, whether if it's the 7th zone, 8th zone, 9th zone, if they want high ground, they're going to take it, regardless of their material count. Especially, that's what last game proved us. And with everybody kind of stacking this western side of the zone and the south side of the zone, they do have a little bit of priority and comfort knowing that there's not too many teams that can challenge them on this edge.
But here's the thing, it's zones like this that if it pulls the wrong way, starts costing you all of your material. Sets you up for a bad end game. Peterbot, the only one that's still capped on this trio, so they're not too far behind here. And look at how Peterbot hunting for those weakened fresh builds. We had just saw Clix's trio make a move around here too. You can see they're positioned right in between Muzz's trio here. Everyone now desperately waiting for the zone to pop.
Yeah, 30 seconds. If you're above Surge, especially by like 359 like they are, you really don't want to peek. Reset those walls, end up getting 3-2-1, focused by a full team. It's those little things, and that's why you're seeing them just try to gather as much information down below, and not really a lot of opportunities going around the entirety of the lobby, or at least not safe ones, forcing some teams probably to go box to box and try to fight their way in. But time has run out for this zone. Let's see where this next one is going to pull towards the south. Again, yeah, not too bad. There is some of the mountain range in there, but most of the lobby just got blessed.
Yeah, Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo recognize they got to fight their way through Muzz's trio, so these shots are almost warning shots, trying to send them off to rotate, but Muzz, Rise, and Japco kind of sticking around right now. Meanwhile, what is happening over here? Reed, Curly, and Cooper have picked up 5 eliminations from when we last left off. A full team wipe onto Hayes' trio here, setting themselves up for a great positioned end game now, as well as they're one of the few teams leading the front side here. They're sitting right above Peterbot's team. Take a look at this quick replay here, Jacob. So much going on here.
You gotta imagine, I saw the little strike of Storm Surge. They were just below the threshold, getting ticked 25 damage every 7 seconds. So really no choice but to fight the next team and just try to push into their box, but that's gonna do them in. Curly, Reed, and Cooper trying to heal up from that last battle, but you see a lot of shields missing. And that means they're going to be in a tough situation here, especially with so many teams nearby. Muzz, Rise, Yapko, they're above the damage threshold as well. But again, missing shields, missing resources, but they're making sure to stay elevated away from everybody else because they know the chaos is what's ensuing down below. It's like quicksand. As soon as you step 1 foot in, you start to sink.
Think about it. They're one of the few teams that have played for high ground. Booga, Rapid, and Threats have also played consistently for high ground over the course of the weekend when the opportunity has presented itself, and to no surprise here, zone 8, zone 9, early high ground take, but they're committed.
And it goes up the side of the mountain, so in theory, as those teams rotate under him, they can try to reconnect time and time again. As Peterbot is being seen in the distance. Click Siamzo, Higgs trying to run up, keep control of the front side of the zone, but now they find themselves below the damage threshold, and it's active. You're seeing them already taking a few ticks, 93 below, falling further, but great shots like that from the full trio. They quickly focus, get above the damage threshold, and then rotate right away. This is what they're doing, Monster, to maintain their position on the front side of the zone ahead of all these teams.
Super clean rotate, but damage is what they need right now. Jacko and Chim, that's a dangerous mistake for them to be trailing behind Clixions and Higgs, but no! Higgs ends up getting caught off guard by the other team they were put in between, and now the shots are starting to come on in. Jacko Muzz take advantage of a little bit of that distraction there. 73 above now. It's up to Clix and Iamzo. This is the first we've seen them as a duo now. But the pressure is on to perform. Placement points are starting to get given out. Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual heating up now. 6 eliminations. Aiden falls to the hands of Peterbot here.
Click's still below the damage threshold. Reed's playing essentially second height, trying to wait for the perfect moment to go up. As Clicks finds another elimination onto Yapko. That's their 7th one of the game, going toe-to-toe, Elim for Elim with Peterbot Cold and Ritual. The right strategy to try to stay alive, and the zone pulls far away yet again, and they're taking the slow side. They're going to where it opens up and immediately look back. A quick momentary target onto them, but they handle it with ease.
Peterbot's team playing for high ground, though. Look at how they're trying to poise up here. Focusing up, taking teams in the mid-ground for fights. They're really looking to try to position themselves, but the zone kind of goes up and over this mountain, playing off of the little bit of territory that they managed to claim here. Iamzo and Clix, though, in a world of trouble to find Sphinx there, and they are still going. Iamzo flexing here and now, up and over the box. Danger lurking everywhere right now, still trying to just hold these little bits of maps that he has. And he's playing for himself, but no, the full trio jumps in. Iamzo too soon, too early, caught out by Curve and his crew. It's all up to Clix now, top 8 here. Just holding on. How far can he take it?
Come on.
It's his moment. How badly does he want this championship? How badly does he want this title?
Only 20 on the Chug Jug. That's a giveaway. You saw them peeking through. He had to sacrifice 10 of that HP, but without builds, he's at the mercy of his opponents. He lands a good shot, but immediately goes down by Braids. And this is the chance for Peterbot Cold and Ritual to start to pick up the lead, but he slides too far down the mountain. He goes down. I saw Tyler fall as well. Cold trying to put in work. He gets the elimination and falls before being able to pick up the Siphon. Now it's all up to Ritual. The points that they need to separate themselves going into the last game of the day, and Ritual falls on top of that. Best case scenario for Clix, Higgs, and Iamzo going into game 12.
It's still not overall, I guess.
Look at who is running it up now. Reed, Curly Cooper from the darkness shines a little bit of light. 12 Elims right now in the top 3. They are keeping it competitive. They are looking to fight their way to the global championship here and now. And this is a defining moment. Aegis comes down, puts one down. Rapid falls too. Booga here to try and clutch it up. And it's all down to everything here. Agers, man behind the wall. Bats are coming out. Booga's on the low ground. Threats is here to back them up, and they win the game. And another victory royale. The first to go for Booga.
Who fucking made lane?
There. They kicked the tournament off with the win.
Who the
They
ninja
get a
do?
win coming into game 11, and it just doesn't get better than that for them.
Yeah, with how close the race is for the global spot, that's exactly what they needed. Not only moving up the leaderboard, but starting to build that confidence. You got to give credit to Reed, Cooper, and Curly as well, hanging on to the very last moment. Even Agers, only solo in that top 3, and he's still squeaked out of second place.
Rapid, Booga, and Threats, you got to think about it. They were in 6 coming into this tournament, and we're talking neck and neck with Muzz, Japco, and Rai. So with that victory right there, that is a big moment for them coming out of game 11, Zeke. It's just getting more and more competitive.
Booga! That's right! That's my GOAT! I can't believe from 9th zone they had height, and you know, Kelly, it got a little scary for just like 1 second. Like they were like a little too high, but they kind of preemptively planned, right? They were like, hey, we're gonna build just a touch higher than normal, and if the zone pulls over this mountain, we're set. It doesn't. They immediately recognize, back off, and go, all right, let's start to close out this game. We want a little bit of victory out before game 12.
I mean, you say you can't believe it, but we saw them do this in game number 1 yesterday. The Booga, when they do have height, they do such a good job kind of observing where the zone is pulling, how low ground is kind of holding everything, and they play so appropriately around the rest of the lobby. Big shout-outs to Rapid, Booga, and Threats. They really are the kings of high ground this last week. And, I mean, when it's just, when you have someone like Booga up on height, and then you have Rapid and Threats just laying down the chaos below, it's only a recipe for success, Vivid.
I mean, this trio is sneaking in or into the top of the leaderboard, right? Threats, obviously, you know, we got Peterbot and Cold. They're putting on quite a clinic, especially in terms of damage dealt. They're going to be first and second, but Threats has been staying close behind them in a close third. We knew threats. He's like the aimer. He's always known for getting those surge tags, kind of making sure that they're comfortable in making it into the end game right there. Bugha making the calls, IGL, go for the higher gun, always setting this trio up. They seem to always kind of be in that spot to actually build one of those towers up, so that way they can go ahead and at least fight for the high ground. This game didn't have to fight for it as much, and they went ahead and ran away with that, got the victory royale.
Man, I love to see it. A single game left to go before Major 2 concludes. When we return, the standings, and we set ourselves up to see who will be crowned kings or back-to-back champions out of NA. We'll see you after this. I took time. I did my breathing exercises. I tried to calm myself down. My tiny little hummingbird heart. And I'm fine for the moment. I'm zen right now. Things are okay. One game left to go in the FNCS Major number 2, Kelly. I'm not stressed at all.
Zeke, what are you doing? I am so stressed right now. Are you kidding me? Look at the standings that we have. Ritual, Cold, and Peter Butt, the team that everyone thought was going to walk away in first place for Major 1, trying to reclaim team their former glory. Fortnite not ban him. In Major 1 finally break the fourth-place curse, and now they're looking to win for the first time ever for all three of them. And then, of course, in third place, you got Reet, the global champion of Coop, and then Curly, the new guy, or I should say new guy, because he's doing such a good job right now. There's so much potential. How aren't you freaking out right now? Vivid, something's wrong with Zeke.
Yeah, I was fully expecting him to just go ahead and break out into a Zeke geek, even with all those breathing exercises. But Peterbot, cold, ritual. You guys will just not place outside of the top 10, will ya? 4th place, 10 eliminations, 35-point lead going into game number 12. Now listen, 35 points. I wouldn't say that it's a comfortable one. It's definitely not a comfortable lead, but I think they can work with that. I think they're definitely set up very, very nicely right here to go ahead and win this FNCS. With 35 points, Clicks, Higgs, and Yamzo, that's the team that's trailing them right now. The fact that this is close right now, photo finish going into game number 12, might be the first time that a Vivid freak happens.
Ooh.
So what you're saying? What you're saying is we just have them land on each other. That's it. Let's just settle it right now. Let's just take it back to Invitational, Kelly. Let's just do that.
Yeah, I want to see, you know, Peterbot go to Lone Wolf Lair, and then Clicks, they'll be going to Crime City, so they each get each other's POI. But no, Clicks, Higgs, and Yamzo in that game where they had